Begin by making 2 marks that divide the plate up into thirds, across the height of the plate. Draw lines across the plate. Draw another line down the side of the plate, 1/3 in from the edge. Mark each segment. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then add the other labels in the spaces around the plate. The description on the plate will match the name of the microbe. In some cases there is an acceptable abbreviation if the microbe has a long name. This microbe is Serratia marcescens. Although we will probably be using a different microbe. Turn the plate around and refamiliarize yourself with the layout of the segment on the plate. We will be using aseptic technique to obtain microbes from the culture tube. The process starts with sterilizing the loop. As always, the loop must be allowed to cool. In this case, if you kill the microbes as you pick them up, they will not grow on the plate. Pick up the tube. Remove the cap. Flame the tube. Insert the loop. When picking up microbes for growth transfer, you need to pick up a visible amount of microbes. Don't fish tail, instead, move the loop in a scooping motion. Then carefully remove the loop from the tube. Flame the tube. Recap the tube, then set it down. We are finished with the tube in this procedure. Open the plate a small amount so that segment 1 is at the back of the plate. Gently insert the loop without bumping it, then apply the loop to the gel and streak side to side over segment 1. Cover all of segment 1, but don't go outside of the boundary lines. Then carefully remove the loop and sterilize the loop. I am going to remove the lid of the plate to show the path of the loop on the gel. You should not remove your lid. If you set your loop down, or if enough time has passed, then re-sterilize the loop. Otherwise you can reorientate the plate so that segment 2 is at the back of the plate. Let the loop cool completely. Then starting at the top of segment 1, streak out into segment 2, then streak side to side from the back of segment 2 to the front. Don't go back into segment 1 or cross out of the segment 2 boundaries. Remove the loop and sterilize it again. We started in segment 1, streaked out into segment 2, then streaked back and forth in segment 2. Starting with a sterile loop, set the plate so that segment 3 is at the back. In this instance I was being impatient. I had not let my loop cool down completely, so I pressed the loop onto an open patch of agar to test the heat. After this I moved on to the streak operation. Then starting at the top of segment 2, streak out into segment 3, then streak side to side from the back of segment 3 to the front. Don't go back into segment 2, or cross out of the segment 3 boundaries. Remove the loop and sterilize it again. In this pass step, we started at the top of segment 2, streaked into segment 3, then streaked to the front of segment 3. Starting with a sterile loop again, set the plate so that segment 4 is at the back. I'm going to touch my loop down to test that it is cool again before moving on to the streaking. Then starting at the top of segment 3, streak out into segment 4, then streak in a loose zigzag pattern into segment 4. Don't go back into segment 3, or cross out of the segment 4 boundaries. Sterilize the loop for the last time in this procedure. In this pass step, we started at the top of segment 3, streaked into segment 4, then streaked in a loose zigzag into segment 4. We started in segment 1 with a large amount of microbes. Then we picked up some of them and spread them out in segment 2. Some of those microbes were picked up and spread into segment 3, then the few remaining microbes were picked up and spread into segment 4. The goal is to get individual, well-spaced colonies growing in segment 4. The burner can now be shut down. Then the plate needs to be sealed up with tape. Three pieces, evenly spaced around the plate, but try not to cover up the information in the labels if possible.